tie it down or it's going to get away from you. The other part, besides the weightlessness that we all enjoy, is the fact that we get to view the beautiful planet Earth from a vantage point that unfortunately not many people get to see, and we see both all of its beauty and some of the other effects that humans have on the environment.
When you're out there looking at Earth, what are you thinking?
Actually, when you're in a spaceship, that is your home, but also it is your security and your safety. This is what keeps you alive in a harsh environment of space. You look at the Earth and you think about the same thing about the planet. This is our spaceship. This is the spaceship of the human race and any other human and living creature on Earth. This is the only place we have to live. And when you see it from above, that becomes very clear to you, because this is where we live and where we enjoy living and where we're going to return. That's certainly one thought, but most of it is its absolutely incredible, majestic beauty. It is such an incredible planet. Beautiful to see and never boring.
I bet, and you guys are lucky to be there. I have to ask about the plumbing incident. I bet, when we think there might be a problem up there, we don't think of that. How have you been dealing with that?
Well, first of all, it is repaired now. We're using all the toilets. They're a little more than a toilet up here. We have 3 we can use, one in the Russian segment, one in the U.S. laboratory, and one in the space shuttle, so we have a little extra. We sure wish we could go to the hardware store or use another one, but they're very critical up here, much more critical than they would seem on the ground, and the equipment itself is more complicated, so they are important parts of a person's life in a spacecraft.
I bet. I can't imagine. I see your microphone floating around there. Anything cool you could do for us to kind of show us? I know you're all holding down and you're holding on to everything, but people always love to see you guys float around.
Well, there you have a couple of cool sites. You can get a little bit discombobulated if you're not too careful. There's actually a lot of room here, so you can't just go all over the place or you'll bump into a lot of equipment.
That's got to be fun. Well, look at her. She's upside down. So cool. Hey, a question a lot of people that live here in Las Vegas always ask when we say, we have a chance to either communicate with the astronauts in space or talk to them via satellite. They always want to know, can you see the Luxor light? We've got that awesome resort here, casino. It's got the huge light that beams up into the sky, and there's always been a rumor, or maybe it's a myth, or maybe it's true, that you guys can actually see the light as you look down, or either when you're taking off or coming in for a landing. Anybody ever seen it?
Nobody that I know of has ever seen it. The thing about us going around is you have to remember that we actually travel at 5 miles a second going around the Earth. So you hit the west coast of the United States, and before you know it, when you blink, you're already over the Great Lakes or over to the East Coast. You traverse it in about 17 to 20 minutes. So you almost have to be particularly looking for Las Vegas and saying, okay, I know there's a Las Vegas pass coming up at this time, and I'm going to be looking specifically for something there. And most of the time, you'll go ahead and spot the city without any problem, and then you'd have to be looking for specific light. And we just have not had the chance to do any of that kind of looking out there yet because our shuttle missions are pretty busy. So I really don't know if anybody has.
Okay, something to be looking for maybe in the future. Real quick, what is the food like up there? What are you guys eating? And everyone always asks, do you guys really drink Tang up there? There's the famous commercial that we always see from way back when.
To my left made us a nice breakfast. She brought some Canadian maple butter, and we put them on tortillas. But we have different foods prepared, kind of like camping food, but it's very good, actually. I like it. Do you like it, Julie?
Yes, very much. It's actually very varied, and most people think, we drink out of tubes and eat out of pills. It's very much like camping food. It's dehydrated, part of it, or a package very specially. What is difficult about eating is not The menu is very good. It's not to be quite careful with your food. Of course, when we start opening our package and start eating, if we flick the spoon, then the food's going to go floating, and that's not a good thing in a tight spacecraft. So you have to be have some table manners.
Doesn't all fall on your shirt. Some of it goes on the ceiling and some on the floor.
Maybe you could wear bibs up there. I don't know. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Mark, Julie, and Dave, good luck on the mission. You've been doing a great job, and we're all proud of you down here on Earth.
Thanks a lot for your time. We appreciate it. It was great to talk to you and your audience.
Endeavour ISS, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the KLAS-TV portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from Fox News Radio.
Endeavour ISS, this is Fox News Radio. How do you hear me?
We have you loud and clear. How are you today?
I'm well. Thank you for joining us. We're going to pause for a moment to let the stations join our broadcast. This is a Fox News Radio special broadcast, a live interview with the astronauts aboard the International Space Station. I'm Eben Brown, and we're joined by Shuttle Commander Mark Polanski, lead spacewalker Dave Wolf, and Mission Specialist Julie Payette. And please, as you speak, since we're on the radio, I ask if you could identify yourself. You're just 3 of the 13 people up there. That's the most amount of people we've ever had up there at a single time. How crowded is it? Are you bumping into people?
Hey, Evan, this is Mark Polanski. It's a pleasure to talk to you. And amazingly, with 13 people here, it can get a little crowded if you're all trying to be in the same volume of space at the same time. But the station's actually fairly large. We have many habitable volumes, and so we can really spread out. That plus the fact that unlike a crowded room, if somebody's in your way, instead of saying, "Excuse me, can I get by?" you just float over the top.
The space station is near completion, and the shuttle program is nearing its end. This means we may be sending you elsewhere soon. Do you think you'll actually get a chance to go to the moon or even Mars? And who's dying to go there? And we'd love to hear from all 3 of you on this one.
Well, this is Mark again, and I absolutely believe we're going to be going on to Moon and to Mars. I can't exactly tell you what year these events are going to occur. Hopefully that we're going to get to the Moon with the current NASA plan of establishing visits there within the next decade, by the end of the next decade. Whether I'm going to do it or not, frankly, I'm probably not going to be in that group, but I think that we have astronauts in the office right now that will be. And for the young audience out there, I think Mars is definitely a near future.
Hello, it's Julie Payette. In my mind, it's totally inevitable that one day the human race will establish a colony on the moon, so definitely we'll return there, and that one day the human race will set foot on another planet, and the most hospitable nearby is the planet Mars, so that's where we're going to go first. It's going to be a very challenging journey, so one cannot predict exactly when we are going to undertake it, but I am very convinced that the first Martians, terrestrial Martians, are born today, and they're probably at the primary school right now.
This is Dave. Hi, Wolf. A vibrant society does the hardest things it can find that it can possibly challenge itself with. And space travel and moving to Mars has inspired millennia of humans looking upwards into space. There's no doubt we'll go there. We need to go there.
When you're all up there, whether it's for just 10 days or for 4 months, some astronauts stay, do you get to speak with your families? And what type of contact do you have with your friends and families back here on Earth?
Hey, this is Mark again, and we do actually have contact with our families. For shuttle missions, which are relatively short durations, a couple of weeks, we have the ability to go ahead and have what we call private family conferences, usually one time during the mission, where we could go ahead and hook up and have communication where we actually have a video conference, which is pretty nice. For the longer duration station crew members, those are scheduled on a regular basis because obviously, you know, that kind of psychological support, keeping the morale high, keeping everybody